Hey there, this is Matt McMahon here to do something completely different than what I normally do. I'm going to list off my top 5 movies I could watch over and over and over again. A few things to note is that 1, I will not be going into the plot of every movie. I will simply be telling why they're rewatchable, and what that entails, you'll find out. The second and final thing to note is that this is my list. This is not the best, this is not the absolute must-watch list of the year. This is simply what I feel are movies you could watch on a frequent basis and enjoy. Now let's get started.
Wow, massive.
Number 5 is a very recent entry, coming out in early 2015, called About Time. It stars Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams. Other notable actors include Bill Nighy and Margot Robbie. First thing I like about this movie is its well thought out British humor. It has that classic charm and wit that you find in all sorts of brilliant comedies. And that's the best part about it. It's not exactly what you call a strict comedy. It has elements of romance, drama, sadness, just all sorts of stuff. And it's all executed really well. Don't even get me started on this movie's writing. That main monologue in the beginning, only a pro could write that. The cinematography is gorgeous, the editing is spot on, and you couldn't ask for a better ending.
Men herregud, det är inte bara du som offrar något.
Wow, can you actually believe it? It's been like, what, 2 years since I've been called the Addict of Yuri or Yuri Addict or whatever, and I'm finally talking about something related to lesbians! The movie in question is a Swedish film by the name of Kiss Mig, which roughly translates, or exactly translates to, get this, kiss me. Besides the obvious reason why I'd rewatch this film, okay girls, there's quite a lot to like about this movie. First of all, I really want to praise all the actors for really stepping it up. It's rare that a movie makes you feel things in plentiful amounts of scenes with little to no dialogue. The simple facial expressions and the way each character looks, specifically Frida and also the main character Mia, really gives you insight on what they're feeling in that specific instance at that specific time. You get right into their psyche and you know something's wrong. Sweden is a beautiful country with beautiful people, so of course the backdrops and the environment is gorgeous, breathtaking. The original score in combination with the licensed songs makes for a great sound design overall. I also like that all the characters are flawed yet believable. Not a single person in this film can be strictly painted as good or evil. Basically, watch this movie. It's not for everybody, but if it's in your wheelhouse, watch it.
Because I'm in lesbians with you. What?
Where do I begin with Scott Pilgrim? The visuals, great. The dialogue, funny as hell. The acting, awesome. The fight scenes, so cool. The creativeness, off the freaking charts. Edgar Wright has such a high attention for detail, it's crazy. This movie's awesome. So many video game references, so many things that I can relate to, man. The amount of quotable lines in this movie is so much, I can't even count it. It even has an original soundtrack actually performed by the actors. I learned new trivia about this movie almost like every time I look it up. Man, I wish I could have saw this in theaters. It really pisses me off that this movie sold terribly and I had a hand in that. Well, I guess I don't really wish I was at a movie theater. I don't like those places. They're just unpleasant. Just go out and buy Scott Pilgrim vs. the World on DVD or something. I just do it.
Some pancakes and some bacon.
Am I the only man below the age of 40 who actually enjoys The Notebook? I mean, most of the people who I know like this movie are women. Come on, guys, this movie's great. This stars Rachel McAdams, who I mentioned earlier on this list, and my fellow birthday man, Ryan Gosling. My first praise of this movie is pretty obvious. The writing is phenomenal. It's one of the best I've ever seen in a romance, like period. All the characters are very believable. Whether you like them or hate them or think nothing of them, they all make sense in the story. The connection between the two main leads is incredible. I'd feel like I'd die if these two weren't together in the end. It's like that important. As I say with all of these movies, the cinematography is great. The pure and raw emotion that ties this movie together is just, oh my god, I can't even describe it. This movie makes you feel things, like really deep and thoughtful things. You probably heard of that ending dialogue between the main characters right at the end of the movie because it's very famous, and trust me, it's just as good as people say it is. You really need to do yourself a favor and watch this movie. It is way better than you think it is. Or maybe it's way worse than you think it is. Either way, you need to find out. And now to my number 1.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
You know there's a reason why Gone with the Wind, with adjusted inflation, is the highest selling movie of all time. Because it's that good. All the characters are great. I like how Scarlett starts off kind of bratty and sort of spoiled, but ends up becoming quite a strong and independent woman towards the end. But really, it's Rhett Butler, played by the legendary Clark Gable, who steals the show. Rhett is the suave and smooth type who knows how to get out of any situation with ease. He is the coolest of the cool. Yet he also acts mysterious and aloof, with a dark past behind him. The music can only be described as classic, and the practical effects are quite impressive to say the least, especially given the time. The movie may be long, but it can suck you in all those 3 hours, making it seem like no time had passed whatsoever. The writing is timeless and will forever be known as one of Hollywood's best and most brilliant efforts. Gone with the Wind pretty much swept the Oscars in 1940. It had 14 nominations, and out of those 14, it won 9. And I say, to this day, no other movie should have possibly deserved that distinction. You'd be crazy not to give this movie a chance. Thanks for watching, and au revoir.
Had no mind